I'm a wargamer. It's a thing going around. I remember it going around years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, but it's gone around again now, and I've been nominated by the coward, that is, Chapter Master Valrak, to say why I'm a wargamer. Now, the rules for this nomination, this thing, is quite simple. It's quite viral, actually. If you Google it, no, YouTube it, you'll see lots of them. There's like hundreds of them now, thousands, millions. So Valrak the Coward nominated me, and there's two sides to this. The first part is, how did you get into wargaming? That's the first question. And the second part is, what advice would you give to budding upcoming YouTubers or people thinking to start YouTube? What advice would you give to people like that? And I think there was a third question on the original one, but this is the two. So how did I get into wargaming? Well, it was the 80s. It was 85. That was a year after I came back into the country that I saw the first lead miniature, and it was a game. There was games. I was into fantasy. I read a lot of fighting fantasy, which was Steve Jackson wrote that with Ian Livingstone. Steve Jackson, of course, set up Games Workshop back in 75, 76, a couple of years after I was born. There's plenty of games back then, and it was just another game, these lovely little miniatures, collecting stuff, doing stuff. I played lots of games, running around the forest with wooden swords, hitting each other. Tried to customize and convert lead miniatures, mainly gluing my hands together. That was fun for a 12-year-old, converting lead miniatures. People say converting miniatures these days is hard. Try a hacksaw that your dad doesn't want you to borrow with half of the blades missing on a Thursday. I still have scars. So that's how I got into wargaming. It was a lovely game, and then 40k came out. What advice would I give anyone starting a YouTube channel now or thinking to do the YouTube thing now? I'd say challenge Chapter Master Valrak. That's the advice I would give. Challenge him, shout it out there, and watch him run. Yellow is the colour of his armour, and yellow is the colour of his soul. Coward. He might say to you something about charity and doing it at some event. Pah! Charity, we don't know, it's war. This is war. Who wants to give money away to charity? We want to war, we want to brag, we want to destroy each other. You challenge him and you invite him to your wargaming kingdom, and still he goes, no, let's do it in a big thing where loads of people can watch and we can donate loads. No! War! War, Chapter Master Valrak, you're yellow, that's the colour you are. And then he might go, no, well, you could come up here, and you go, you can't even do anything at your place, you haven't got a place. So then he turns around and rips out a whole room in his house and tries to set up some sort of wargaming kingdom there, even though that there's one here already. Delaying tactics. I'll tell you why he does delaying tactics, because he's played one game of 40k, one in his entire lifetime as far as I'm concerned. He didn't play in during 8th, played one in 9th, and now, because he won against some wannabe pretend wargamer from Hellstorm Wargaming, Phil, and play against that guy and wins, and therefore he thinks he's like undefeated because he played one game, like my 6-year-old nephew who kicks a goal past you when you're playing kick around football and then thinks he's suddenly Messi because he scored a goal and you let him. Yeah, undefeated isn't one game. It's just he's a coward. That's what I would do if you set up a YouTube channel. I'd encourage thousands of people, millions of people to set up YouTube channels and challenge Chapter Master Valrak to show the colour of his metal, which is yellow, in case I haven't mentioned that already. That's the advice I would give. You're supposed to nominate 3 people for this as well. So, of course, I nominate Liam because he's my squishy. He probably won't get the content up there anyway. But, you know, Liam, let's get that one out there because your army story is actually quite interesting. I'd nominate Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming because he's the brains behind there. And let's face it, they're northern. It's not much brains. But it's good watching him try and come up with some stories every now and then. Plus, Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming is one of the most glorious, nicest, friendliest. I think I'm going up. He challenged me. There should be a video coming out at some point, and I'm going to see him because he's not yellow. He will fight me, so we will bring that on with Dizzetti, who versus Hellstorm Wargaming. Morty and Glory is coming too as well, by the way. These people aren't cowards. So Mikey, how did you get into this? Please try and string a sentence together, and don't talk so northern. Let like the Americans and normal people understand what you're saying as well. And the third person should be SayHiPaul. He's also started a YouTube channel and he is an absolute legend, and I'd be interested in actually one of the 3 people I'd be interested to hear what he has to say, because I know Liam's story, and Mikey, I can't understand a word that's coming out of his mouth. But SayHiPaul, how did you get into wargaming? Because you got like 50,000 armies. It'd be very interesting to hear that story and what advice that you would give. You're also new to this YouTube thing as well, you see, so you could give out some fresh, droppings of advice. They're still steaming away. Let's hear that. Let's hear words of wisdom from someone who's actually intelligent. You also raise the IQ level of this whole thing. So yeah, I'm a wargamer. That's my response. Thanks for nominating me, Chapter Master Valrak. Now face me, damn it.